Running sucks. Well, at least that's what I've thought for the last 44 years. That running sucked. I was a high level athlete growing up, played hockey almost all my life. I got into weightlifting. I trained jujitsu. I'm a black belt and I teach it and I train it. And through all of that, I never loved running. As a kid, I did karate for what felt like a split second. And even my dad might tell you it was a split second because I got that gi or the kimono, which they call it in karate. And once I started having to do push-ups and running, I said to my dad, I quit. And he stormed down Kingsway feeling like it was the end of the world for me. So fast forward 44 years, and I'm loving this running thing. And I'm gonna give you some things that will kickstart you into loving running too, from a beginner's perspective. So a few things that changed everything. You're not supposed to be good from the start. Those first few weeks for me sucked. Heck, that first run sucked. I felt like a mile was a lifetime. I felt like a mile took forever. The paces weren't good. The time wasn't good. Nothing was good. And I used to think something was wrong with me because of that. Because I didn't live up to what I saw on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, whatever you're surfing, TikTok, and these people are going from the couch to running. It's not the truth. You can do it, but it takes a little bit of effort. As I said, I felt absolutely awful after the first kilometer. But guess what? It's normal. You're supposed to. Everybody feels bad running that first kilometer. Even experienced runners felt like that when they first started. And learning that one thing will help you feel less discouraged moving forward through this journey, because the first few weeks suck. But once you get going, I have a lot of people I've talked to about the fact that I've started running, and they say I hate running. I've had a lot of people at hockey, at jiu-jitsu, I can't even run a kilometer, is what they say. Well, guess what? You can. And you just need to get out there and try. The second thing I'll say is slow down way more than you think. This killed me the first little bit because I subscribed to Runna and it told me to do easy runs. And I subscribed to Runna very early on because I wanted to kickstart my 5K. And I thought, heck, a training program is going to help me. And it told me to do easy runs, and it told me to do long runs. And these easy runs and long runs are for recovery. And there's no such thing as too slow. If your pace is 7, 8, 9 minutes a kilometer, so be it. Take your time. It doesn't matter. And that's the thing, is beginners almost always start too fast. I definitely did. I would do a mile a day, and I would try to hit a PR every single time I ran that mile. So I was gunning. I was like, I want to get below 9 minutes, and I did. I want to get below 8 minutes, and I did. I want to get as close to the 7-minute mark as I can. That wasn't the way to do it. Definitely caused injury. It made my knee hurt. It made my Achilles hurt. It made my ankle hurt. It made my groin hurt. It made my hip hurt. One thing after another kept hurting because I pushed too hard and went too fast from the start. Slow down. So as I said, conversational pace. This is talked about a lot when you're using a program like Runna, when you listen to YouTubers and they're talking about recovery. Conversational pace is where you're running and you're able to hold a conversation. If you can't do that, you're running too hard and too fast. There should be no huffing and puffing. Say that a lot. But you should be able to hold that conversation. And that's where the turning point happened, when I realized that I could just slow down. When you're running too slow, it may feel like more work. So you want to run at a pace where you're feeling comfortable enough to hold a conversation, but not slow enough to feel like you're working too hard running slow. So there's a fine balance, but once you find that, you could literally run forever. When I slowed down, running went from torture to sustainable. I talk about motivation a lot, and I've had people hit me up on YouTube. I've had people hit me up on Strava. I've had friends of mine say, man, you're motivating me to do this. But stop thinking about motivation and start thinking about ritual. Build these rituals instead. Think about that next run. Think about waking up. Think about the time that you're going to do it. Plan it. Plan your week. If you're just starting to run, say, I'm going to run 3 times this week. Say, I'm going to run 4 times this week. Get your stuff ready. Get your shoes ready and get yourself out that door. Time shouldn't be a factor in this because all you need is a pair of shoes and head out that door. You don't need to run on a track. You don't need to find a park. You can run on the sidewalk. You can run anywhere. So give yourself 30, 40 minutes to go for a run if you can do it for that long. If you're out there for 10 or 15 minutes, so be it. But give yourself an hour. You're going to warm up. You're going to stretch. You're going to go for a run. Then you're going to get home and you're going to shower. It's an hour of your day. Pick a time, morning, afternoon, night, and find what works for you. Because I personally enjoy running in the morning and getting it out of the way to start my day. If I've woken up and I feel like heck, I'll go to work and I'll run after work. But plan your day accordingly, and this will become a ritual. So I'll say this, you don't need motivation, you need a process. The next thing is find your easy route. I said, get your shoes and you can head out the door. But if you have your go-to route, you'll likely stick to it. Mine has become Central Park in Burnaby, British Columbia, which is just around the corner from my house. It's right there. And there's a great path around the outside and there's paths on the inside of it as well. And it's my easy route where I go and I get my kilometers in. This route is manageable. It has a little bit of elevation, not a ton. I think it's 35 meters for 1 lap. And so if you do more than 1 lap, you're getting more elevation. But find a route that works for you that you can consistently go back to because it will build that ritual in you to want to continue to run. Strava is the #1 app for runners, for cyclists, for walking, for everything to track your progress. So find a route that works for you and excites you about getting out there and running every day, not something that looks impressive on Strava for your followers to see. The right route makes running feel 30% easier. A lot of people talk about form, and my form was horrid. I think my form is still horrid, but I'm getting the kilometers in. Your form does not need to be perfect. You can watch as many videos as you want, and better form will help injuries for sure. It'll stop them from happening or maybe not stop them, but prevent them from occurring a ton. So don't focus on perfect form. Focus on relaxed shoulders, slight forward lean, and short, soft steps. That's it. It's simple. You don't need to be taking these huge strides. Focus on simplicity, not biomechanics, and your running will be fun. Another thing that crushed me at first, and I think my dad pointed this out when he decided to tell me to stop using Runna for a little bit and focus on his plan, was focus on time and not kilometers or pace. So running for 20 to 30 minutes reduces that pressure because you're not focusing on hitting a certain amount of kilometers. You're focusing just on the time and being out there and running. So once I understood this, I understood, okay, I'm going to build a good foundation. I'm going to be able to run for this amount of time. I'm going to run around for this amount of time, and I'm going to be able to continuously do this. And I focused on that for a month with my dad, and it definitely, I feel like it helped my foundation. And now I feel like I'm a stronger runner. I'm a better runner. And I was able to focus not so much on my pace and instead focus on the amount of time that I'm out there. And I had fun with it. And this brought me back to when I stopped chasing those kilometers. I liked running. I love running now. And I am starting to chase kilometers because I'm training for a half marathon, but I'm not chasing the dream of needing to hit this mark or needing to run this amount of kilometers in this amount of time. So stop chasing the kilometers and start running for time when you're starting. Another thing I'll say is I know a lot of pro runners say don't listen to music. because it might ruin your cadence, it might ruin your pace, it just might ruin your run. I completely disagree with this. I'll listen to music that hypes me up for my short, speedy tempo sessions. I'll listen to a podcast or an audiobook for my long runs. Something in my ear to keep me going through the motions. Whether it's a hype playlist for those tempo runs because you need to boom, 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 boom and get going. Whether it's a chill playlist on a long run or an audiobook or a podcast, like I said. But running becomes less of a mental battle when you have that music in your ear because it's a little bit distracting and you can just run with noise in your head rather than listening to your breath, which, I mean, as a pro, I'm not a pro runner. And 99% of you guys out there aren't going to become pro runners either. You're all beginners watching this. So watch and listen and have fun while running because it should be fun. I said I'm over 160 days into this now, but you should celebrate those micro wins. Getting out there for day one. Whether it's 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour run, if that's your day one, so be it. But celebrate those micro wins. Once you start celebrating those micro wins, you'll understand and celebrate the pace. You'll celebrate the consistency. But initially, as a beginner, track those feelings and those micro celebrations, not numbers. Because those are what matter more. And those are going to want to keep you coming back to running the very next day. And the next day after that. Those are some of the biggest things that made running suck less for me. What's the one tip that you wish you knew when you first started running? Drop it in the comment section below. Beginners will definitely appreciate it. I'll appreciate it because I still consider myself a beginner runner. And guess what? Running doesn't suck anymore.